All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Ebony, aka Fit Mom Diva of Simplicity Health Style, and today we have Miss Melanie with us. How are you, Melanie?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks. How are you doing, Ebony?
I'm awesome, you guys. She is taking time out of her weekend to speak with us today. So I sincerely hope that you stick around to the end. And for those of you that do, you may have an opportunity to get a complimentary gift. So I encourage you to stick around and see what gems that Melanie is going to share with us today. Melanie, start us off just by sharing a motivational quote that's personal to you, something that gets you going, inspires, and motivates you.
Ooh, I have many quotes. I'm not gonna lie. I really love C.S. Lewis. His quotes are so inspirational and I feel are so moving. But one of them I think that really just draws to me is that you are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. I feel it's like constant, especially for me, just always having dreams and goals and ambitions, but also with my faith and like having God like continuing to lead me. And, it's so important for me, I feel like, to keep him first, because I like to say dreaming big with Jesus. So, something happens and I get this opportunity or another opportunity presents itself, like it's seriously, I wouldn't do it without God. So that's really important to me. And also I have many favorite verses, but I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, Philippians 4:13. So I feel that's just a broad range of me. My middle name is Faith, so I definitely have to learn how to represent that, and that's really important to me. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. And I have the opportunity of actually on video with her right now. And she has a painting behind her that says dream big. That is so necessary because when our dreams are too small or when we don't think highly of ourselves, sometimes we can sell ourselves short. And we definitely have the capability to dream big and achieve big as well.
Sure.
Tell us about a time, Melanie, where maybe you didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, though, and you had to overcome some obstacles, but at the end of the day, you were able to bring that goal or that dream to fruition, because we all know that dreaming big is wonderful as a concept, but it's not always easy to achieve.
No, it's really not. And you said it loud and clear right there. I feel, over these last 8 years, it's been such a great time, because that's actually when I really gave my life to the Lord and just started pursuing him full force. So I had these childhood ambitions of becoming a model actress. So I moved from a small town in Northern California to Los Angeles, and God just opened so many doors for me in the modeling and acting industry. And I was just so amazed and taken aback. And then, but then I also was realizing that there were those opportunities that I had to say no. Compromising my faith and being in the industry, like I definitely wanted to be obedient to the Lord. So I definitely took a huge step back from that. But I also realized that fashion is definitely something that I'm very passionate about. But something that's really important to me and just shows so much truth is knowing that we are all fashioned in God's perfect image. And we all have these gifts and talents and goals. So it's like, okay, God, like I'm passionate about this and I'm passionate about that. But how can I, I guess collaborate them into like a mold, a shape, like an art piece. So music, I'm definitely moved by music. Music definitely is something that's very important to me. And it just helps me draw closer to the Lord. But I think within these 8 years, over these last 2 years, Ebony, when I was younger, I was sexually abused. And in the summer of 2016, I went into a deep state of depression, and I lost my identity. I just felt there was just this heavy, heavy cloud just over me. And I remember having a pillow over my face and not feeling like I deserved light. It was really hard for me. So in those first 2 months, I really just closed myself out. I closed myself out from my husband, from my family, from my friends, took out, all my social media outlets. And I was really, just a really dark place in my life. And I didn't want to go to church if it's something that I loved. I love and enjoy going to church. And I didn't even want to do that. So it was really hard for me, and then wanting to get back into my old lifestyle. I wanted to get back into alcohol, and I had suicidal thoughts, and I was trying to map out how I would, when we lived, my husband and I, let's just back up a little bit. My husband and I lived outside New York City. So when my husband would go into the village to get his food or to get his drinks, I was trying to map out in my head, okay, how would I get to the liquor store and get that bottle of alcohol before he came back? Or I would look at the time schedule on the train for when the train came to our town, because again, like I was just so lost. I was so broken. I was so damaged. And I just wanted to feel again. I wanted to feel alive again. So even if it meant taking my own life to feel alive, even if it meant, just drowning my sorrows and my brokenness, it was really, really hard. But you know what, after those 2 months, I had just a community of friends and family who just gathered around me. I'm so sorry. And who just spoke just words of life into my soul to make me feel alive, to make me feel and know that I am worthy and that I have a purpose. And then also with counseling, there was a pastor at the time, Pastor Eric Luber, and my husband had told him what was going on with me. He reached out and he shared a counselor. She's an amazing woman, and she would counsel people at the church. So I remember I got the phone number and I struggled to reach out to her. I remember dialing the number, and again, I had so much shame. I carried so much guilt. I wasn't ready to share such personal, damaging stuff of what happened to me. But I made that call. I believe definitely God gave me the strength and the courage to make that call. And it wasn't easy. Like during those sessions, I had to go back in those moments. And it was just really traumatizing, and it was just so hard. But I realized that if I have to go through that in order, for me to get to a place of seeing the light, then so be it. But then also, I never questioned God. Why did that happen to me? Why did that have to happen to me? Really, I knew it was important for me to get that healing and to just continue to have those friends and family members just pray for you and speak life into you, to encourage you. But I also came into that point through my healing. Okay, God, use me. I know there's so many other people out there who are hurting, who are broken, who have been abused, who have been raped. So really, it's just like having a heart for others and the Lord. And so then with that happened, Ebonie, and then last summer I had an early miscarriage. So it was really a painful, trying time. I want to be a mother. That's another big dream of mine, is becoming a mother. And then the holidays rolled around last year. We had a cancer scare with my mom. She lost sight in her left eye. And there was a mass growing in her brain. So it was just a roller coaster of things that were, that we were going with and going through the fire. But at the same time, it was just really important for me to, just keep my faith, just grounded in Christ, and to just continue to press forward. And, and again, it's really hard, because there are some days I can be closed off. I'm not going to lie. But then there are some days where I'm like, okay, Lord, like, here I am, help me, give me the strength that I need for a brand new day. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's a powerful story. And
thank you.
I think that too many times we walk past people in the street and we assume that everything is okay because they're smiling or they look pleasant, or there's somebody in church and they're the worship leader, or whatever their position is, where they're a light to other people. But we all have our own challenges as well. And I think we often forget that.
Right.
I think that that's amazing that you had the level of support that you had, because a lot of people don't have that. Yeah. And even when they do have it, sometimes people make themselves available for a short period of time, right, and then they get back to their own busyness. Right. So it sounds like you had the type of support that you really needed to pull you through it for a long duration of time. And that is something, when we're talking about dreaming big, also that kind of stalls some people, because they've had this dream or this goal in mind. And they're like, well, how do I connect the pieces when I don't even have the support of my local community? True. Not realizing that there are people out there that are not a part of their local community that will believe in their dream and help support them along the way. Mm-hmm. Can you talk to those people that don't necessarily have a support system, and ways that you can encourage them to seek a support system that would help them achieve their dream?
Oh, of course. Well, definitely besides the family and friends, I feel social media, is really helpful in itself. Just really reading, posts of what women, are going through and how they share their personal insecurities and their weaknesses. It reminds us as women, oh, wait a minute, like she has that insecurity too. Like she has, that problem, but yet she conquered it type of thing. But also with me, my support is the Lord too. It's just so vital for me to have that personal, intimate relationship with the Lord. And I just started, when I moved to North Carolina from New York, I started video journaling. So I would have basically my weaknesses or what I was going through, I would talk to God. Nobody else would see it. And during the year, I want to be able to go back and reflect back and to be like, oh, wow, Lord, like you helped me through that. You supported me through that. So it's just really having like all these ways and just different, times and moments of me, just really pressing into the Lord and having him be like my support system. We have a little dog. My husband and I have a little dog that we got back home from California. So I wake up early in the morning and I'm walking my dog and I'm having that personal, intimate time with the Lord. It's just starting your mornings off right. And, just really, there's so many great communities out there too. Especially when I was living in New York City, there's, find your passion. If it's music, if it's entertainment, if it's comedy, there's so many groups out there that you can definitely reach out to, and just finding new friends. Like for me, that's so important is heart-to-heart conversations, building positive relationships and having those people continue, to speak life into you, to encourage you, to uplift you. Because you mentioned it earlier too, there's people out there who don't understand, who are supportive in a way, but they don't understand your dreams because they don't have that same mindset, and that's okay. But at the same time, it's, definitely trying to find ways to feed your soul. I'm used to the city life, being in Los Angeles, New York, and now I'm in North Carolina. So it's, finding ways of, being through the calmness, finding ways of, I'm reading more books lately, so, it's just really taking the time to take care of yourself too, and to really just, for me, it's just getting to know who I am in the eyes of Christ, and to know, like, whatever comes my way, whatever struggle, whatever trial, whatever temptation, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So that's really, really important.
Yes, that is important. And for those people that do have that type of spiritual relationship, it's very significant in those dark moments, because not everybody is always going to be at your beck and call, because they have their own issues too. And they all have just their own busy lifestyle that they're not intentionally meaning to push you to the side. It's just that our society is so busy at times.
Yes.
What would you say to people that don't necessarily know how to go about seeking that spiritual connection, and they're listening to you speak right now? They're like, well, that's great for you, but how do I even get started with it?
Yeah. Well, I was raised in a Christian home, but I did not have a personal relationship with God. So I had my moments of being rebellious and doing what I wanted, but there came to a point to where I was sick and tired of living a life of clubbing. I was sick and tired of, pouring alcohol, being in like the worst relationships. And I fell to the ground in my apartment floor, just crying and just really just giving my life to the Lord. You come to a point to where you hit rock bottom and you're like, okay, what do I do? Where do I go? But one thing that I've learned is God is really, he's always there. Now, I know there's some people out there who don't believe in God, and that's okay. But you know what? There's just something about, just having that spiritual connection with the Lord. Like I've had dreams, as a little girl, but it's just amazing, again, just to have that personal relationship with God. And I've just seen him, reflecting back this morning on what he's taken me in these last 8 years of my life. It's just so amazing and astonishing to me. But God is, he loves you even in the state of where you're in. It doesn't matter, where you've been, what where you're at last night doing. Like, God loves you just right where you are. And I feel like that's just so hard, especially in society. Christians get a bad rap. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
Christians get a bad rap. But for me, it's, what, I can continue to debate. I can continue to, be one of those legalistic Christians who want to judge and condemn, or I can be, what, Lord, I want to move forward to show your love, your compassion, your grace, and your mercy, because that's what's important to me. And I want to be able to meet people at where they're at, just like God. That's what God wants to do. He wants to meet people right where they're at. We don't have to be perfect. Good grief. It's one thing, I'm saved by grace. And that's one thing that's definitely so important to me, and just really is embedded in my heart and in my mind is just having a heart for people who are broken and who are weary and who are tired and who are damaged. And that's just really, again, just having the God just fashion my heart, so to speak, in that mindset. And again, of just having the heart to reach out to people who need hope, who need encouragement, who need love. That's really important.
Yeah, and that's so key to meet people where they're at, because we at one time were, like you said, rebellious, trying to do things our own way, not listening to what anybody else had to say, not caring what anybody else had to say, and it's stuck in our own ways. And I think that we often forget where we came from, and it was because that people showed love toward us and helped us through a process that we were able to get to where we are now. And where you are right now, somebody else could be looking at you like, oh, she's such a baby. Like, what do you mean you can't XYZ? You know, so we're not necessarily in a place where we've arrived either. So we have to be open to help from other people that might have good wisdom to share with us. So yes, meeting people where they are at is so key. And I think that at times people get more discouraged when you are expecting for them to be way up here, but really they're telling you, I'm struggling right here. Can you meet me right here and get me to up here, but don't knock me down because I'm not up here, you know? So I think that there's a delicate balance and how you
sure. Definitely. Yeah. We all have struggles. I have struggles just like everyone else. I have insecurities just like everyone else. But to me, it's, you know, going back to God, to have it, you know, to reflect on him and for him to show me that my imperfections, you know, to him is what makes it beautiful, is what makes it graceful. You know, we're priceless. Each and every one of us, women and girls, we are priceless in God's eyes. We all have value. We all have worthy. We're all worthy, you know, in his sight. We're all precious in his sight, as that, you know, Bible song that we learned when we were younger, you know. It's so vital to me. And again, it's, you know, there's so many broken hearts out there, especially with women and young girls nowadays. And, you know, again, it's just, you know, Lord, like, what we're talking about right now is just lead me to where they're at. Help me to reach out, have these hands, use these hands to reach out to girls who are hurting is so important to me.
Yes. Oh, what would you say is your strongest motivation for where you want to go with your brand? And for those of you that are listening, you'll have an opportunity to collaborate with her if you would like to. And all of her contact information will be in the description box for you to get in touch with her. But I know that you have some next steps. So what would you say are your strongest next steps and your motivation for doing so?
Sure. Basically, you know, Fashion at Mel, just having the slogan with that is, you know, compassionate for people, passionate for Jesus, and also just having passion, you know, for the arts of music, fashion, entertainment. But really what I love you're doing, Ebonie, is something that's aligned with what I'm really passionate about, is fashion. So I would really just like to go into girls' closets and, you know, accessorize and put outfits together. But then also, again, it's so important for me, you know, when I had spoken about earlier, is making positive relationships and having them grow. So basically, you know, getting, like, for example, getting a girlfriend, going through her closet, putting outfits together, but then sitting down like we are now and just having a heart to heart. And if she feels led to share a struggle, because maybe there's some women out there who are watching and they're like, I can't relate. But guess what? That's where I want my heart to be. Like, there's so many other girls who are going through different, you know, roads, and they're struggling with different things. And maybe I can't meet somebody out there, and that's okay. But then there's my friend, or there's, you know, another beautiful woman out there who, you know, has that struggle that somebody can definitely relate to. So really it's, you know, fashion and just having that heart to heart, and basically, you know, where that brand is too, fashion and love, you know, is we're also fashion in his love, but knowing that we are fashion for a purpose. So, yeah.
Yes. And you're exactly right. Some people listening may say, oh, I don't really resonate with that message. It doesn't really do much for me. And then you have this whole handful of people over here that are like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I came across this today, because this is exactly what I'm experiencing right now. And then they're able to feel free to open up about their own personal struggles and stories. So I think that we always need to just think about sharing what's in our own heart and not worry about, is it going to impact this person or this person? Just worry about, it's going to impact the right people and in the right way and at the right time. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
We are not here for everybody. We're here for the people that we are truly supposed to connect with And
Yeah.
I strongly believe that everyone can find somebody that will give them that support and
Yeah.
have a message that resonates with them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. I
Thank you,
really do
Ebonie.
appreciate you. And I would love to see more of your journey. And for those of you that want to collaborate or you just want to see more of her journey along the line, feel free to connect with her on Instagram. And I know that she is going to be up to some large things. Maybe we'll see her on TV one day with her lovely fashion line. I love fashion. And I will be sitting in the front seat right there, looking right at you, saying, "Oh, I remember when." I remember when we did an interview about her
There you go.
early stages in the fashion world.
I love it. Maybe having you one of my fashion shows too. I would love to have that, throw fashion shows for the community and have beginner musicians. Again, we all have dreams. So it's like, why not get together, collaborate, and share our dreams and, our gifts and talents with others. That's really important to me too. Having a community of people, getting girls together, whether if they've been raped, abused, whatever the case is, we all have scars. So let's celebrate them. So.
Yeah, I've been in a couple of fashion shows with my.
Look at you go, right on.
It's such an awesome experience because you get all glammed up and pretty and stretch your stuff across stage and everybody's snapping. You feel like you got your paparazzi crew.
You go, girl. So, yes.
Yeah, that's
you have that glamour face. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's an awesome experience, especially to build up the confidence. And young girls particularly, but women in general. But that's awesome that you're doing that. And so if you're ever in my area, I'll definitely participate, either or.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Melanie. I appreciate you.
Thank
For those
you,
of you that are looking for a community of inspiring women like Melanie and I and some other ladies that I'm connected to, you can feel free to join my Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group. That's Nutrition, the number 4, Busy Women Facebook group. The direct link is in the comment section. If you're interested in participating and being a purpose-driven woman with us, I invite you to not only join the group, but also share your experiences. We talk about nutrition from a food consumption standpoint, but we also talk about nutrition for the mind, body, and soul. So I would love it if you could also share your story. And if any of you that are listening would like to share your story with the world and impact women, feel free to reach out to me and we can do an interview just like we just did with Melanie, where you're just open and transparent and vulnerable so that other people can feel the freedom to be more of themselves and share that with the world as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. For those of you that would love to keep in contact with me for future episodes, I invite you to subscribe and share this content with anyone that you believe that it could benefit. And wherever you are in the world, just remember that you want to live a life that's full of meaning and purpose so that you can feel more sense of fulfillment. You guys have an awesome rest of the day, and I will talk to you in our next episode.